Hi, I'm Varnaz and welcome to Low Carb Keto Recipes and Having Fun. All my life I've been intimidated by making a cheesecake. I thought it was something really difficult and I would never be able to make it. And if you ask me to make a normal cheesecake, I still don't know how to. But the keto low carb cheesecake, oh my God. So I've got it made right here. I want to show you what it looks like. I've made a cheesecake loaf. Easier to eat, easier to pull out of its dish. And let me do a little quick taste test. Oh my God. My first cheesecake that I made myself. Oh my God. I'm in heaven. We're standing in my kitchen. So let's get straight into the recipe. We begin with the crust. You take 1 cup of mixed nuts. I've got macadamia, walnuts, pistachios in this. So you put it all into a blender or a little ninja and you give it a little blitz. You give it a blitz in such a way that most of it is powdery, but you have little bits of nuts in it showing through too. I feel that really looks nice in the crust. See, this is the consistency. Can you see? I'll give it maybe one more little blitz. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like. So a bit of it becomes powdery and yet the nuts show through. Okay, now I'm adding to this 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. If you have flaxseed seeds, please put it in your grinder and make it into a meal. Now I have 1 tablespoon of a sweetener. I'm using this Sucrin confectioners. It's always nice to have the powdered sugar. It just always works well in baking. So that goes. I've given it a good mix. Now we have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. In that goes. And we are ready with our crust, because this is what forms the crust, and it's really healthy with all the good fats in. So I think the crust tasted better than a normal cheesecake crust. Okay, so I've given all this a good mix. Now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of almond flour also to it. This kind of binds it all together because the nuts need some kind of a flour. So I added 1 tablespoon of almond flour. Now I've taken a silicone loaf pan. If you don't have a silicone one, you can use a metal one. I've got this liner. If you don't have a liner, then feel free to spray your loaf pan well with some kind of oil or butter. Now I'm putting in the entire crust mixture into the liner that I've put inside the loaf pan, and I'm going to press it down and take it end to end and see that it gets really well packed. Now if you need more nuts and your loaf tin is bigger, feel free to use 1.5 cups of the mixed nuts. Now I'm pressing it all down, making it nice and smooth, and as you see, I'm taking my time in this because it's important that the crust shouldn't crumble when you're going to cut your cheesecake loaf. So press it, take your time, press it down nice and tight right to the ends and all over. And now it's going to be ready to go into the oven for about 6 to 8 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees centigrade. I'm really taking my time pressing it in, but it will really help in the final product. So do take your time to do this. Okay, there you go. It's all ready and set. Okay, so I'm showing you what it looks like before it goes into the oven, and as I said, maybe anything between 6 to 8 minutes you can put it in. Now we're ready to do our filling. In goes 400 grams of cream cheese. You can use any brand you like, and put that into a mixing bowl, and we are going to begin. Just see that your cream cheese is at room temperature, because we are going to give it a good mix with a hand mixer, and it really helps if it's at room temperature, because then it doesn't splatter all over. If it's not at room temperature, put the bricks in the micro for maybe 15-20 seconds. Next, I'm putting half a cup of a sweetener. I've used the same Sucrin confectioners. Again, it's great to have the confectioners sugar for this, because it really does, then you don't get that gritty taste. And if you want more sweetness, then add a tablespoon or 2 more of your sweetener. Now I'm breaking in 2 eggs into this. These are 2 large eggs. If you're using medium eggs, then please use 3 eggs. So again, we give it a great good mix with the hand mixer. Now I'm scraping in the sides, because the sides always splatter up and it never gets mixed. So push it down with the spatula and give it another good mix. The hand mixer is your best friend right now, because it really mixes this whole thing really well. With a whisk, it'll take a very long time. Like I said, I've added 3 eggs. No, I'm sorry. I'm adding my eggs one at a time. So that was my first egg previously, and then I mixed it, and then I put in my second egg, and then give it another mix. This all, if you do it one by one, it just sees that it just makes your mixture so much more smooth and well assimilated. Okay, now I'm putting in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. If you want it even more flavorful with more vanilla, feel free to put another half a tablespoon. But I think 1 tablespoon is a good measure for this, because it's a loaf, so it's a good measure to bring out the flavor. Now I'm putting in a little splash of lemon juice, literally 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Somehow this brings out the flavor even more, and I think it helps with the cream cheese and thickening it or something like that, but the lemon juice really does help. And if you want to use more lemon, then you're free to use a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon. Okay, here is my crust. It's out of the oven after about 8-9 minutes, and I have let this really cool down. I have made the crust, pulled it out of the oven, put it into the fridge while I was making the filling, because you can't put your filling when your crust is hot. It'll really, it'll become, I don't know, it'll all go through your crust or something like that. So I've cooled it, and now I'm adding my entire filling into the loaf pan. And I love this idea of a cheesecake loaf. I thought, why not? One is used to seeing a cheesecake always round and all that. I thought, let's make it into a loaf. So that's what I've done. Okay, so now it is all ready and set to go into your oven again, which was any case well heated. at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees centigrade for 40 to 45 minutes. I would like you to check this when after 40 minutes. It should be a bit jiggly at the 40-minute mark, and after that jiggly part you can keep it for another 2-3 minutes, and that should be enough. So now it's out of the oven after 45 minutes, and see how easy it is to pull it out when you've put a liner and in a silicone loaf. But even a tin loaf, it would be easy. Lovely crust at the bottom, and oh, I'm so excited to show you this recipe. There's a little crack on top, but that is fine. Look how easy it is to cut, and you have this amazing cheesecake with a lovely nutty crust, and I'm really excited. I hope you try this recipe. This is an amazing cheesecake. It tastes divine, and I think you're going to like it. So do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell for all the new future notifications. Bye then.